Welcome, friends. Let's just start right away in a comfortable seat. Now you know how we do, so hands can be on the knees, on the thighs, open up through the chest and find length through the crown of the head as you root down. And as you start to settle in here, maybe a block under your sits bones so that you can sustain this for a little bit. Put your one hand on the chest and one hand on the belly and really feel the rise and lowering as you start to tune into your breath. During this time, while we're forced to be inside, I think that it can feel a little disconnecting, and I think it's important to remember that when we touch into the heart and really tune in, we can remember that we're all connected through this. And so I would encourage you during this class to really tune into yourself. I really believe that when we serve ourselves, we can serve others. And so creating this space for ourselves to really tune in can really help us bring our best self forward. So, together, exhale whatever breath you have in the lungs. Deep, deep inhale all the way to the top. Exhale through the mouth. One more time, deep, deep inhale all the way to the top. Exhale through the mouth. Seal the lips and start to find a steady inhale and exhale that you can sustain through the practice. If Ujjayi is part of your practice, try and keep that throughout this entire session we have together. It's just 50 minutes. This isn't very long in the grand scheme of things, is it? If you'd like, still keep the eyes closed. Inhale your arms up overhead. Exhale, forward fold over the shins to tabletop. We're going to just start warming up the body with a simple cat-cow. So exhale, drop the head, curl through the top back. Inhale, drop your belly. Maybe the gaze is up. Exhale, cat pose, excuse me. Inhale, drop the belly, cow pose. And now follow your own breath. Maybe you roll side to side. Kind of explore here. Remember, your eyes are closed. There's no one to impress. It's just you and your mat. Inhale, flat back for sure, and then walk your hands up, downward facing dog, hips towards the sky, really finding length in your spine. Slight bend in the knees so that you can really explore that length. We don't want any crunching in our spine, any curve in our spine. We want to find a nice long line of energy from our wrist to our tailbone. And you can pedal the feet here as you stretch your hamstrings out. Inhale, roll to plank, shoulders over wrists. Exhale, bend the knees, drop them to the mat. Lower through, chest, chin, tailbone to the sky. Inhale, slide through, baby cobra. Gaze at the top of the mat. Exhale, lower. Back to child's pose. This is a pose you can always find when things are uncomfortable. Of course, I would encourage you to stay and push through, but if it hurts and it doesn't feel right, it's not right. Downward facing dog. Inhale, roll to plank. Lower your right knee to the mat. For modified side plank, lift the left arm to the sky. Plant your left foot on the back of the mat parallel. Shoulders over the wrist. Find a comfortable gaze, keeping your neck supported. Lift the left leg up if you'd like, finding a steady line of energy from the crown of the head through the back heel, flexing the foot. Lower your left leg, hand back to the mat. Curl your right knee into your nose, and then inhale, three-legged dog, right leg to the sky. Exhale, knee to nose, plant your foot between the palms. Lower your back knee, low lunge. Walk the hands in towards your hip crease. Open up through the chest. Front knee is over the front ankle. You can narrow your stance here. We really want to find a nice opening of that right hip, but we don't want any pain. Straighten the front leg, Ardha Hanumanasana. Bump the hips back, curl the front toes towards your face. Open up through the chest. You want a flat back here, so feel free to put your hands on books or blocks. Rebend your front knee. Plant the hands. Plank pose, bring your right foot to the back of the mat. Lower your left knee to the mat. We're going to open up to the right side of the room. So your right arm to the sky. Plant your right foot parallel to the back of the mat. If you'd like to lift your leg on this side, finding your hips stacking, some stability. You can even kind of kickstand your lower foot behind you instead of being parallel underneath you to find some stability in this. Steady your gaze. Start to gently lower your raised leg. Plant your right hand to the front of the mat. Exhale, bring your left knee to your nose. Same curl and cat. Inhale, three-legged dog, left leg to the sky. Exhale, knee to nose. Plant your foot between the palms. Low lunge. Walk the hands to your hip crease. Finding a nice opening in the back thigh, in the hips. Gently place your hands on the mat, bump your hips back for Ardha Hanumanasana, half split. Curl the toes towards your face. Again, finding lift here. Lift out of the pose if there's any curling in the upper spine, lower spine. We're really just trying to find a nice leg stretch here, not a back stretch. And we want to open up our heart during this time. So if we're curling in, we want to create that space for our heart to touch. Rebend your front knee, plant the hands, bring your foot to the back of the mat, high plank. Start to widen the stance of your feet in this high plank. We're going to alternate lifting our arms and legs. So gently lift your right arm along your ears and plant it back on the mat. Now your left arm. Gently place it on the mat. Lift up your right leg. Place it gently on the mat. Now your left leg. Rise it. Back to the mat. Gently lower to a 4 count. Use your knees if you need to. 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, baby cobra. Open up through the chest. Exhale, lower. Curl the toes, lift the kneecaps, hands under shoulders, lift up. Inhale to plank. 3, 2, 1. Exhale, downward facing dog. Stay for the inhale. Exhale. Inhale, gently roll like a wave to plank pose. Exhale, lower to the mat. Arms out to a T or slightly higher up. You're going to roll onto your right side for a nice shoulder stretch. So you can bring your foot behind your right leg. Hand can go behind your back or alongside your body here as we get this nice stretch in our shoulder and our pecs. Stay with it and breathe. Gently find your way back to center. Arms back to a T, maybe slightly towards a Y shape, just a touch, maybe an inch. And then roll onto your right arm. Again, the right leg can lie right on top of your left leg. You can bend your right leg and have it planted behind your left leg. It's whatever is comfortable here. Just breathe. Breathe into the posture. Breathe into your heart, the space that's being created here. Flex your straightened leg. If both of them are straightened, flex both of them. Gently come back to center. Inhale, hands under shoulders, curl the toes, lift the kneecaps, lift straight up to plank pose. Exhale, downward facing dog. Walk your feet up to the top of the mat, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Hands up the shins, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, slight bend in the knees, rise to stand, arms up overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center, soft bow of the head. Maybe send out some love somewhere. Hands on your hips, shift the weight into your right leg, bring your left knee into your chest, flex the foot. Really find lift by engaging your right butt. Start to lower your thigh parallel to the ground and bring your knee out 45 degrees angle, halfway to Vrikshasana, and then same, finding that lift by engaging your butt. Stay with it. Halfway lower, bring your leg back to the center. Inhale it back to your chest and then lower. Shift the weight into your left leg, bring your right knee into your chest. Engage that left butt to really find lift. Lift a little higher. Flex your right foot. Lower your thigh parallel to the mat. Then bring your knee to the right, 45-degree angle. Lift up. If you lose your balance, come back in, no problem. Halfway lower, bring back to center, lift your knee in towards your chest and lower your right leg. Inhale your arms up over your head. Exhale, Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back, feet to the back of the mat. Exhale, Chaturanga. Inhale, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. Root down through the tops of your feet. Really engage your thighs, open up through the chest. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale your right leg to the sky. Exhale, knee to nose. Find that cat in your back. Inhale, extend your leg. Three-legged dog. Exhale, knee to right elbow. Inhale, three-legged dog. Exhale, knee to left elbow. Inhale, three-legged dog. Exhale, knee to nose. Plant your foot. Rise, crescent lunge. Front knee is over the front ankle. Find a little bit of a bend in the back knee so that you can really find a nice length through the spine, and then straighten your leg if it's comfortable. You shouldn't feel any back pain in your lower back. Inhale your arms up overhead, soften through the shoulders. Interlace the arms behind the back. Gently lower your hands down your sacrum. You can even cross your arms and have opposite hands to elbows if it feels uncomfortable. We really just want to find an opening through the chest here. Lower your chest halfway, finding a long line from the back heel to the crown of the head. Plant your hands on the mat. Inhale your right leg to the sky, three-legged dog. Exhale, knee to nose. Plant your right foot on the mat. Bring your left leg to the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Bring your right leg to the back of the mat. Inhale your left leg to the sky, three-legged dog. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, slowly extend. Exhale, knee to your left elbow. Inhale, three-legged dog. Exhale, knee to right elbow. Inhale, three-legged dog. Exhale, knee to nose, plant your foot, rise, crescent lunge, inhale. Find a comfortable stance, find length in the spine. Inhale the arms up overhead. Find a comfortable stance, perhaps softening the back knee and then playing with straightening it. Clasp the fingers behind the back and start to encourage your fist down your tailbone towards your back thigh so you can really open up through the chest. Start to lower the chest halfway, finding again that length in the back of the neck as well as you gaze towards the top toes. Lower your hands to the mat and bring your left foot to the back of the mat for high plank. Exhale, lower, chaturanga, elbows pinned towards the side of the body. Inhale, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, tops of the feet really press down. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, rise on the toes, bend the knees, look forward, hop or walk to the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana. Rise up to stand. Reach your arms up overhead. Start to interlace the hands behind the back. Remember, you've also got the option of clasping opposite hands on opposite elbows. You can also slightly bend your elbows if you're interlacing fingers so that your palms can reach together. Shift the weight into your right leg, left knee into your chest. Really engage that right butt so that you're lifting your knee up a bit higher. Flex your left foot. Open up through the chest and breathe. Gently lower halfway. Bring your knee out 45 degrees angle. There shouldn't be any rotation of the standing leg, so don't go so far out that it compromises your standing leg. Bring your knee back to center and place your foot back on the mat. Shift your weight into your left leg, right knee into your chest. Really engage with that left butt so that you're lifting your knee a bit higher. Drive your interlaced fingertips down your tailbone or even lift up off of your back. Bring your knee out to a 45-degree angle and then lift. If you lose your balance, come right back in. Bring your knee down and back to center and gently lower your foot down to the mat. Inhale, reach your arms up overhead. Exhale, forward fold, soft bend in the knees. Inhale, Uttanasana, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the feet at the back of the mat, chaturanga. Inhale, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale your right leg to the sky, three-legged dog. Exhale, knee to nose, plant your foot. Crescent lunge, rise. Finding that string on that back heel, finding a lift as you lift up on your back toe. Bring your hands to your hips or arms can go up overhead, up to you, but we're going to prepare to slowly dip our knee down. Exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, rise. 2, 3, 4. Keep your knees bent. Exhale, lower. 3, 4. Inhale, rise. 2, 3, 4. Exhale, lower. 3, 4. Inhale, rise. 2, 3, 4. Exhale, lower. 2, 3, 4. Inhale, lift. 2, 3, 4. Exhale, lower. 2, 3, 4. Inhale, rise. Crescent lunge. 3, 4. Rebend your front knee. Interlace the hands behind the back. Start to shift your weight into your right leg as you lower your chest. Warrior 3. Point your left toe towards the ground to encourage your left hips to be square with the right. Lift up through the chest. It can be parallel to the mat or even a little higher up so that you're not feeling any pain in your lower back. Start to straighten your standing leg if you can. A soft bend in the knee is also fine. Stay with it and find your breath. Soft bend in the knee. Start to bring your left knee in towards your chest. Hands are still interlaced behind the back. Straighten your left leg out straight ahead of you, parallel to the mat as much as you can. Curl the toes in towards your face and really start to cinch in your ribs towards each other as you engage that lower belly to keep your leg lifted. Rebend your knee, warrior 3. Inhale as you extend your leg behind you and softly land. Warrior 1, back foot is at a 45-degree angle, toes pointed towards the top left corner of the mat. You can bump out your right foot a little bit to the right so hips are squared as you start to lean forward and humble your warrior. For a little rest here for a few breaths. You can keep your interlaced hands on your sacrum or start to lift up. Really drop the head here. Keep your knee bumped out to the right as it starts to creep in a little to the left. Gently rise, warrior 1, arms up overhead. Gently place your hands back on the mat. Bring your right foot to the back of the mat, high plank. Inhale. Exhale, lower chaturanga, slowly and carefully. Inhale, Urdhva Mukha. Plant through the tops of your feet. Exhale, downward facing dog. Lift your left leg to the sky, three-legged dog. Inhale. Exhale, knee to nose. Plant your foot, crescent lunge. Right heel has a string lifting it up towards the sky as you rise on those back toes. You can even shift your stance to be a little narrower as we prepare to bring our knee down towards the mat like we did on the other side. Gently start to lower. Exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, rise, keeping a bend in both knees as you reach the top. Exhale, lower, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, rise, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, lower, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, rise, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, lower, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, rise, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, lower, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, rise, 2, 3, 4. Straighten your front leg for a moment and then rebend it. Interlace the hands behind the back. Inhale, start to shift your weight into your left leg. Lower the chest halfway, warrior 3. Right toes pointing towards the ground. Finding a lift through your chest on this side as well. If you want to lift your hand up your sacrum for a moment, give that a try. Find a spot to gaze at and hold it steady and focus, tuning into your breath. I know your leg is getting tired, ignore it. Softly bend your standing knee, bring your right knee into your chest. Keep your fingers interlaced, really engage with that left butt to bring that knee higher up. Start to straighten your right leg ahead of you and really lift through that lower belly. This is an intense engagement and work in your hip flexors. Engage the core muscles to help really lift through that leg. Tune into the breath. Rebend your knee. Inhale, start to lower your chest as you bring your right leg back behind you, warrior 3. Stay here for a breath with the transition. Now, softly land your right foot at the back of the mat at a 45-degree angle, right toes toward the top right corner, warrior 1. Bump your left foot out to the left a bit so you're squaring your hips. Keep your hands interlaced as you start to lean your chest forward over your thigh. Humble your warrior. Hug your left hip back, keeping your hips squared. Let your head hang heavy. Inhale, slowly rise, warrior 1, arms up overhead. Exhale, gently plant your hands at the top of the mat. Bring your front foot to the back of the mat, high plank. Exhale, lower chaturanga, keeping your chest parallel to the mat. Inhale, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, open up through the chest. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, roll to plank. Exhale, slowly lower all the way down to the mat, keeping your elbows pinned against your body. Your arms can stay alongside your body, or you can interlace the fingers behind your back. Exhale to prepare. Inhale, lift up, Shalabhasana. Encourage your feet together as you lift up through the chest. Really bring your belly button towards your spine. Really engage your core as you lift up. Gaze is just directly in front of you, finding length in the back of the neck. One last squeeze, just a little bit higher, and then gently lower. We're going to prepare to do Shalabhasana again. This time you can do it the same as before, or you can hook your hands around your ankle. Exhale to prepare. On your inhale, lift up. Really squeeze in your belly button towards your spine as you kick your ankles back behind you to really open up through your chest. Squeezing your knees in towards each other. Exhale, gently lower. Right ear to the mat. You can windshield wiper your feet side to side with your knees bent, or you can let your feet relax behind you, toes touch, let the ankles splay out, and you can rock your hips side to side. Switch ears. Hands underneath your shoulders, curl your toes, lift your kneecaps, rise up. Inhale to plank. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, roll forward to plank. Optional Vinyasa. Lower slowly and with control. Inhale, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. Push down on the tops of your feet. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale your right leg up, three-legged dog. Exhale, knee to nose, plant your foot between the palms. Warrior two. Back foot is parallel to the back of the mat, or back toes are pointing towards the top left corner of your mat. Arms are open to a T, chest is open up to the left side of the wall, or your left side of your room. Cinch your ribs in towards each other and really engage through the core through this pose. We're really rooting down with our back foot. Front knee is over the front ankle. Focus with your gaze over your fingertips, your drisdi. Exhale, flip the palm. Inhale, reverse your warrior, keeping your knee over your ankle. Stay here for a breath, opening up through that right shoulder towards the front of the room. Inhale, warrior two. Extended side angle pose. So forearm can gently rest on your upper thigh, of your right upper thigh. Left arm goes along your ears. Then you can gently bring your right arm up like a Y. You might have to lift a little bit up, lift the chest up out of this pose a little bit so that you're not having any pain in the lower back. Really root down through that back heel to find the strength and the lengthening. Inhale, warrior two. Flip your palm, reverse your warrior, straighten your front leg. Bump your back foot in a touch, Trikonasana, triangle pose. Cut your left hip back as you reach your fingertips forward and then grab onto something, the shin, a block, the mat. Really encouraging your chest over your front leg. Encourage your right ribs to slowly go down so you're finding length in both side bodies as you get this really nice side body stretch in the left hip. Find a steady gazing point in front of your right toes. We're going to play with just balancing our way into Ardha Chandrasana. So you can bend the front knee as you point your fingertips towards the mat. Lift your left leg up, stacking your hips. If you need to place your hand on a block, no problem. If you fall out of the pose, get back into it. You got this. Keep a steady gaze. Flex your floating foot. Start to make your way to standing split, so squaring your left hip, keeping your left leg up in the sky. Your nose starts to make its way towards your knee. Hands are planted on the mat. You can play with balance by having one hand on the mat and one hand wrapped around behind your calf as you encourage your nose towards your knee. Gently land your left foot on the back of the mat and start to walk your hands the left side of the room, parallel the outside edges of your feet to the short edges of your mat for wide-legged forward fold. Hands to your hips. Inhale, gently rise up with a flat back. You can interlace your hands behind the back if you'd like, as you gently leading with the heart fold forward, guiding your head towards the mat. Prasarita Padottanasana C. Hands to your hips, gently rise flat back up to stand. Start to settle back into your warrior two. Front toes point towards the front of the mat, keeping your back foot as it is. Tee your arms. Cartwheel your hands down to the mat. Bring your right foot to the back of the mat, high plank. Exhale, gently lower down, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Soften your shoulders down as you open up through your chest. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale your left leg to the sky. Exhale, knee to nose. Plant your foot between your palms. Inhale, rise, warrior two. Front toes are pointing forward. Back foot can be parallel to the back of the mat or pointing towards the top right corner of your mat. Arms to a T. Cinch in your inner ribs so that you're engaging your core. Lift and strength in this pose by really rooting down through that back foot. It's really truly the foundation of this pose is your legs. Soften the jaw, soften the shoulders. Inhale, flip your palm. Exhale, reverse your warrior, opening up your left shoulder to the front of the room, keeping your front knee bent over the ankle. Inhale, modified side angle pose. Start to bring your left hand or elbow to your left thigh. You can bring your arms to a Y overhead, really rooting down through that back foot, finding a long line of energy from your back heel all the way through the fingertips, keeping that front knee bent and scooched a little over to the left. It kind of creeps in a little bit. Lift up a little bit out of this pose so that you're finding length in both side bodies. And stay with your breath. I know the leg is tired, but you're strong and you've got this. Inhale, warrior two. Flip your palm. Reverse your warrior. Straighten your front leg. Trikonasana, triangle pose. Cut your right hip back as you start to bring your fingertips forward. Plant your hand on the mat or somewhere on your shin, stacking your right hip over your left hip as much as possible, and scooching your chest back so it's really over your front leg. We really want to open up our heart during this practice, so this is a great opportunity to continue to do so. If your right arm is extended, find a long continuity from your left fingertips all the way up through the right fingertips. I'm going to play with Ardha Chandrasana on this side, and we're going to also play with balancing our way into it instead of going directly to the block. Soft bend in your front knee. Have your hand extended out in front of you as you start to shift your weight into your left leg, stacking your right hip over your left hip, flexing through that lifted foot. If you lose your balance, don't worry about it. You can always put your hand to a block or get right back into the pose. Find a steady gazing point. Find that same length in both side bodies as you did in Trikonasana, triangle pose. Standing split, palms to the mat or a block if you need it, keeping your right leg extended up ahead, guiding your nose towards your knee. If you want to play with having one hand on the mat or no hands on the mat, go ahead. Softly land your foot on the back of the mat as you walk your hands towards the right side of the room. Prasarita Padottanasana on the right side. Flat back, hands to your hips, gently rise up to stand. We're just going to do a quick reset here, making sure spine is being safely used. Now you're going to fold forward and you can do peace fingers around the big toes. You can guide your hands behind you to really guide your head towards the mat. Up to you, but really keeping a nice flat back during all this. If you want to play with Shirshasana, bringing your feet up, bringing your head to the mat, doing a headstand, stay in this as long as you need to. Inhale to a flat back, hands to your hips. Slowly rise to stand. Warrior two, rebend your front left leg, knee over the ankle, toes pointing forward, arms to a T, gaze is ahead. Cartwheel your hands to the mat, bring your front foot to the back of the mat. High plank, inhale. And you can go straight to downward facing dog or exhale, lower chaturanga. Inhale, Urdhva Mukha, engage the thighs. Exhale, downward facing dog. Stay in downward facing dog or roll to plank and lower all the way to the mat if you want a quick rest. It's going to seem a little bit like rolling around on the ground for a little bit, but we're going to be playing around with Wild Thing. Roll to plank and then gently exhale, lower to the mat. Listen carefully. We're going to be alternating sides, getting into and out of Wild Thing. Place your hands on the mat underneath your shoulders, elbows pointed towards the sky. Bring your left heel towards your butt. Press into your left hand as you peel your left side open. Plant the left foot behind you. Lift up, ground your right foot down into the mat as you lift your left arm up overhead for a nice back bend. Gently lower your hips. Come back to center with your hands underneath your shoulders. Straighten your left leg. Right heel towards your butt. Peel open your right side. Plant the right foot behind you. Open up through the chest, right arm up overhead. Really grounding down through that left foot. Lower your hips down, back to center. We're going to try it again. Peeling open that left side as you really keep your shoulder over your right wrist, opening up through the chest as your left arm extends ahead of you. Gently lower your hips down, back to center. Kick your right heel in, peel yourself up, open up Wild Thing on the left side. Keeping your shoulder over your wrist, gently lower. Now listen, we're gonna do this one more time on each side. So peel open with your left leg, open up to the side, Wild Thing. But this time as we inhale and open, we exhale, lower our hips down and our left hand between our knees, and then inhale, rise up back to Wild Thing. Exhale, lower your hips, hand between your knees. Inhale, Wild Thing. Exhale, lower your hips, back to center, rolling over to your other side. Inhale, finding your way into Wild Thing, right arm up overhead of you, rooting down through that left foot, lower your hips, right hand between your knees. Inhale, lift up to Wild Thing. Exhale, lower your hips. Inhale one more time, Wild Thing. Exhale, gently lower your hips, back to center. Toes to touch, knees wide, push back, child's pose. You can tent the fingertips and engage the forearms and arms, or you can just rest because that was a lot of work and a lot of heart opening and front body stretching going on. Tune into the breath, especially after putting in so much work. Stay here for as long as you need. You can start to walk your hands in towards your knees, sitting on your heels. Lean to either side and kick your feet in front of you. And then scooch up a bit so your butt's in the center of the mat as you gently lay down. Keep your knees bent like bridge pose. Inhale, straighten your right leg over your hip, curl your toes towards your face. Start to walk your hands up your thigh, up your calf, maybe grab onto your big toe with peace sign fingers, keeping your shoulders rooted down on the mat and both hips are still rooted on the mat. You can keep your left leg bent or you can straighten it out, making sure to flex the toes towards your face. Left arm to a T. You can stay here in this nice hamstring stretch. If you want, you can play with opening your leg open to the right a bit, keeping your left hip rooted down. You can even use your left hand to encourage it to plant it down to the mat. Come back to center. Bend your knee, bring it in towards your chest. Rebend your left leg to bridge pose if it's not already there. Recline pigeon pose. So right ankle over your right thigh. Encourage your right knee out. If you want, you can wrap your hands around your shin and bring your knees in towards your chest. Flex your left foot. You should feel a nice stretch in your right outer hip, similar to how we do it in pigeon pose, but now we get to just hang and relax on our backs. Arms to a T, twist to the left for a spinal twist. You can plant your right sole on the mat and keep your legs in figure 4. You can also cross your right knee over your left knee for a more intense twist. Just remember that this is our only twist of the day, so be gentle. Both shoulders should be on the mat, so if you need to place a block underneath your knees or your thigh, that way you can help just let gravity root you down and you don't have to do any work, just ease into the pose. Slowly come back to center, feet like bridge pose. Inhale your left leg to the sky. Walk your hands up your thigh, maybe up your shin. Maybe you hook onto your big toe with peace sign fingers. Opening up your left hamstring. You can straighten your right leg. Just encourage your right toes to curl towards your face. Root your right hip down if it's starting to peel up. You can play with starting to open up to the left side. Bring your leg back up to center. Bring your left knee in towards your chest. Rebend that right leg. Pigeon pose on the other side. Left ankle to right thigh. Encourage your left knee out. If you're feeling a nice stretch in that outer left hip, stay here, or you can bring your knees in towards your chest, either wrapping your fingers around your thigh or your shin. Flex your right toes. Spinal twist on your right side so you can keep your feet as is and plant your left foot on the mat. For a deeper twist, you can wrap your left leg around your right, really remembering to root your shoulders down with your arms to a T. I find feels really nice. If your legs are staying lifted or your knees are staying lifted, support them with a block, right? We come to practice to support ourselves so that we can better support others. And that's really important, especially in these moments of easing and using gravity to our benefit. We just want to find ease. There should be no pain. Gently unravel to center, bringing your knees in towards your chest. You can do circles to the left, circle to the right. Give your lower back a nice little massage. And any finishing posture you want to do, fish pose, happy baby, grabbing the outside soles of your feet and bringing your knees in towards your armpits. You could even straighten your legs out and rock side to side. Or you can just go straight into Shava. You've earned it. Start to make your way to Shavasana, our final resting pose. Feet can just splay out, keeping them, on the outside edges of your mat, finding space between your feet. If you'd like, you can put a block lengthwise in between your shoulder blades and one block underneath your head. Palms face up towards the sky for one final heart opening during this time where it's so easy to shut ourselves in physically. It becomes really easy to close our heart and our emotions and shut everything in. So in this final pose, opening up through the heart, we can take all the heart opening we did in class to really lead with our heart off the mat. Really continue to take those times to connect and find those sweet little moments. Sweet, sweet Shava. Slowly, softly start to awaken your breath. Call the breath back. Start to wiggle the toes, the fingers, maybe roll the wrists and the ankles. Arms can stretch up overhead for one final stretch all the way from the toes to the fingertips. Bring your knee into your chest. Roll to your favorite side. Start to lift up to your seat. Hands to heart center. May our hearts still stay open during these indoor quarantine times. I love you all. Namaste.